This is the story of a 19-year-old girl with stage 4 brain cancer who makes goodbye videos for children because she doesn't know if she'll survive. And the billionaire's son who shoved her wheelchair and mocked her for blocking his parking spot. Emma Rodriguez, head wrapped in bandages, volunteers at a children's cancer ward even while fighting her own battle. Marcus Wellington III, a 28-year-old trust fund brat, assaulted her outside the hospital, laughed about it, and told his lawyer, "My dad will handle this." But when Judge Caprio discovers that Marcus's pharmaceutical CEO father is the one charging Emma $18,000 a month for her cancer medication, and when the courtroom sees those secret goodbye videos Emma recorded for the kids she loves, everything explodes. This case shattered the internet with over 12 million views. The judgment Caprio delivers is something you will never forget. Subscribe right now and comment, who is your hero? Let's go. It's a cold February morning in Providence Municipal Court, and the kind of tension that makes your chest tight hangs in the air. The gallery is packed, not with the usual faces, people fighting parking tickets or minor infractions, but with something different. Families. Parents holding the hands of children wearing colorful beanies covering bald heads. Nurses in scrubs who took their break to be here. A hospital security guard in uniform sitting ramrod straight in the third row. And in the front, in the aisle seat closest to the judge's bench, sits a young woman in a wheelchair. Emma Rodriguez is 19 years old, but she looks younger and older at the same time. Younger because of her small frame, the oversized hoodie swallowing her thin shoulders. Older because of the white bandages wrapped carefully around her head, because of the dark circles under her eyes, because of the way she holds herself, like someone who's fought 1,000 battles before breakfast. Her mother, Maria, stands beside her, one hand resting protectively on Emma's shoulder. Maria's a nurse at Providence General Hospital. She's wearing her scrubs under her coat because she has a shift right after this. Her eyes are red-rimmed but fierce. On the other side of the courtroom, near the defendant's table, stands Marcus Wellington III, 28 years old, 6 feet tall. Armani suit probably worth more than most people's monthly rent. Hair perfectly styled, a Rolex that catches the light every time he moves his wrist. He's scrolling through his phone, barely paying attention, like this whole thing is beneath him. His lawyer, a sharp-eyed man in his 50s named Richard Pemberton, leans over and whispers something. Marcus nods without looking up. Judge Frank Caprio enters and the bailiff calls, "All rise." Everyone stands, except Emma, of course, who straightens in her wheelchair as much as her weakened body allows. Caprio sits, surveys the courtroom with those warm but penetrating eyes, and immediately notices the unusual crowd. The children, the families, the hospital staff. "Please be seated," he says gently. His voice has that quality, firm but kind, the voice of a grandfather who's seen everything but still believes in people. He looks down at the file in front of him. Case number 4782, the State versus Marcus Anthony Wellington III. "Mr. Wellington, you're charged with assault and battery. How do you plead?" Marcus finally looks up from his phone. "Not guilty, Your Honor." His voice is smooth, confident, almost bored. "All right," Caprio says. He looks at the prosecutor. "Counsel, please present the charges." The prosecutor, a young woman named Sarah Chen, stands. "Your Honor, on February 3rd, at approximately 2:15 p.m., the defendant physically assaulted Miss Emma Rodriguez outside Providence General Hospital. Security footage shows Mr. Wellington shoving Miss Rodriguez's wheelchair, causing her to fall forward and strike her head. He then verbally assaulted her before driving away." A murmur ripples through the gallery. Caprio's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. "Miss Rodriguez is the young woman here in the wheelchair?" "Yes, Your Honor." Caprio looks at Emma, really looks at her. And Emma, despite everything, despite the pain and the exhaustion, meets his gaze and gives a small, brave smile. "Miss Rodriguez," Caprio says softly, "are you all right to be here today?" Emma's voice is quiet but clear. "Yes, Your Honor, I wanted to be here." "Good." Caprio turns to Marcus. "Mr. Wellington, did you push this young woman's wheelchair?" Marcus glances at his lawyer, who nods. "Your Honor," Marcus says, "it was an accident. She was blocking the entrance." "I didn't ask if it was an accident," Caprio interrupts, his voice still calm but with an edge now. I asked if you pushed her wheelchair, yes or no. Marcus's jaw tightens. I may have made contact with the wheelchair. Yes, but made contact, Caprio repeats. He looks at the prosecutor. Do we have the security footage? Yes, Your Honor. Sarah Chen presses a button and a screen descends behind the judge's bench. But before we watch this footage, guys, I need you to understand something. What you're about to see is hard to watch. It's going to make you angry, and that's exactly why this video went so viral. Stay with me. The footage begins. It's grainy but clear enough. The hospital entrance, a covered walkway. Emma's wheelchair comes into frame from the left, moving slowly. Her mother is beside her, carrying a bag. Then Marcus's silver Porsche pulls up fast, too fast for a hospital zone. He gets out, slams the door. Emma is near the automatic doors, waiting for them to open. They're slow, the kind hospitals have for accessibility. Marcus walks up behind her. You can see him say something. Emma turns slightly, trying to move to the side, but the wheelchair is slow to maneuver. And then Marcus puts both hands on the back of the wheelchair and shoves, hard. The wheelchair lurches forward. Emma's body jerks, her head snapping forward, and she nearly falls out. Her mother screams, reaching for her. Emma's hands fly up to her head, to the bandages, and even through the silent security footage, you can see her face contort in pain. Marcus doesn't stop. He walks right past her, through the doors, into the hospital. The courtroom is dead silent. Caprio watches the entire clip without expression. When it ends, he sits back in his chair. Play it again, he says quietly. They play it again. This time, Caprio watches Marcus, the defendant in the courtroom, not the man on the screen. Marcus is staring at the defense table, jaw clenched, refusing to look up. When the video ends the second time, Caprio leans forward. Mr. Wellington, he says, and his voice is so calm it's almost frightening. That was not making contact. That was assault. That was you deciding this young woman's time, her pain, her struggle, was less important than your convenience. Marcus's lawyer stands quickly. Your Honor, my client. Caprio raises one hand. I'll get to you in a moment, counselor. Right now, I want to hear from Mr. Wellington himself. He looks at Marcus. Why did you do that? Marcus shifts uncomfortably. I was late for a meeting. She was blocking the door. She was entering a hospital, Caprio says. She's in a wheelchair. Where exactly was she supposed to go? I don't know. Marcus stops. Look, I'm sorry it happened, okay? But it wasn't that serious. She's fine. A gasp goes through the gallery. She's fine? Caprio repeats slowly. Maria, Emma's mother, makes a sound, half sob, half laugh. It's bitter. Caprio looks at her. Ma'am, are you Miss Rodriguez's mother? Maria stands, trembling. Yes, Your Honor. Please, come forward. Maria walks to the witness stand, is sworn in, sits down. Her hands are shaking. Mrs. Rodriguez, Caprio says gently, can you tell the court about your daughter's condition? Maria takes a breath. Emma has stage 4 glioblastoma, brain cancer. She was diagnosed 8 months ago. She's had 2 surgeries, radiation, chemotherapy. The bandages on her head are from her most recent surgery 3 weeks ago. Someone in the gallery starts crying softly. And when Mr. Wellington pushed her wheelchair, Caprio asks, what happened? She hit her head on the door frame, Maria says, her voice breaking. She's not supposed to have any head trauma. Any impact could cause bleeding, could cause... She can't finish. Caprio nods slowly. I understand. Thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez. He looks at Marcus. She's fine, Mr. Wellington? Marcus says nothing. Your Honor, his lawyer interjects. My client acknowledges this was an unfortunate incident, but Miss Rodriguez did not require hospitalization as a result of this specific contact. Because she was already in the hospital, someone shouts from the gallery. The bailiff stands. Order. Caprio raises his hand again. It's all right. He looks at the gallery, at all those faces, the families, the children. I'm noticing we have quite a few people here today who seem to know Miss Rodriguez. Would anyone like to speak? A hand goes up in the back. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, wearing a pink beanie. Caprio's expression softens. Yes, sweetheart. Come on up. The little girl walks forward, her mother following close behind. She's tiny, fragile-looking, but she walks up to the microphone with determination. What's your name? Caprio asks kindly. Lily Chen, she says. Her voice is small but brave. Hi, Lily. How do you know Miss Rodriguez? She's my friend, Lily says. She reads to me in the hospital. She brings me toys and we play games and she tells me stories about her cat, even though she doesn't have a cat. She just makes them up to make me laugh." A ripple of soft laughter goes through the courtroom. Even Caprio smiles a little. "That sounds like a wonderful friend," Caprio says. "She's the best," Lily says. Then her voice gets quieter. "She's sick like me, but she still comes to see me even when she doesn't feel good. She says we're warriors together." Emma, in her wheelchair, is crying silently now. Maria has her hand over her mouth. "Thank you, Lily," Caprio says softly. "That was very brave of you to speak up." Lily goes back to her mother. "Guys, if you're not feeling this yet, just wait, because what happens next changes everything." Caprio looks at the prosecutor. "Miss Chen, is there anything else the court should know?" Sarah Chen stands. "Your Honor, there are two additional pieces of evidence. First, hospital staff have informed us that Miss Rodriguez volunteers at the pediatric cancer ward 3 times a week, despite her own illness and treatment schedule." "Volunteers," Caprio repeats. "Yes, Your Honor. She reads to children, plays with them, helps comfort them during treatment. The nursing staff says she's been doing this since 2 months after her own diagnosis." Caprio looks at Emma. "Miss Rodriguez, is this true?" Emma nods. "Yes, Your Honor. The kids, they need someone who understands, and it helps me too. It gives me a reason to keep fighting." The courtroom is utterly silent. "Your Honor," Sarah Chen continues, "there's one more thing. This video," she indicates the security footage, "was posted online by a bystander who witnessed the incident. It's been viewed over 12 million times. There's been significant public outcry." Marcus's lawyer stands abruptly. "Your Honor, that's irrelevant." "Is it?" Caprio asks. He looks at Marcus. 12 million people watched you assault a teenage cancer patient. 12 million people saw you push a girl in a wheelchair and walk away. How does that make you feel, Mr. Wellington?" Marcus stares at him. "I didn't know it was being filmed." "That's what concerns you?" Caprio asks. "Not what you did, but that you were caught doing it?" Marcus doesn't answer. Caprio sits back. "Mr. Wellington, tell me about yourself. What do you do for a living?" "I work for my father's company." "And what company is that?" "Wellington Pharmaceuticals." Something shifts in the courtroom. A tension, a recognition. Caprio's eyes narrow slightly. "Wellington Pharmaceuticals, the pharmaceutical company." "Yes, Your Honor." Sarah Chen stands again. "Your Honor, if I may, Wellington Pharmaceuticals is currently facing multiple lawsuits for price gouging on cancer medications, particularly temozolomide, which is used to treat glioblastoma." The courtroom erupts. Caprio doesn't silence them immediately. He lets the noise build, lets the outrage fill the room, and then he holds up one hand. Silence falls. "Miss Chen," Caprio says carefully, "is temozolomide the medication Miss Rodriguez needs?" "Yes, Your Honor, at approximately $18,000 per month, which her insurance only partially covers." Caprio closes his eyes for a moment. When he opens them, he's looking directly at Marcus. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," Caprio says, his voice dangerously quiet. "Your family's company manufactures the very medication this young woman needs to survive. Your family charges $18,000 a month for it, and when you encountered her outside the hospital where she was likely going for treatment, you pushed her, injured her, called her a," he glances at his notes, "waste of space, and drove away in your Porsche." Marcus's face has gone pale. "Your Honor," his lawyer says desperately, "the pricing decisions are made by—" "I don't want to hear from you right now," Caprio says, never taking his eyes off Marcus. "I want to hear from your client. Mr. Wellington, did you know who this girl was when you pushed her?" "No." "Did you care?" Silence. "Did you care?" Caprio repeats, "that you had just assaulted someone? Did you look back? Did you check if she was hurt? Did you feel even a moment of concern?" "I was late." "You were late." Caprio's voice rises for the first time. Not shouting, but sharp, cutting. "This girl is fighting for her life. This girl is spending her dying days bringing joy to other children who are dying. And you were late for a meeting?" The courtroom is frozen. Caprio takes a breath, composes himself. "Counselor Chen, you mentioned there were 2 additional pieces of evidence. What's the second?" Sarah Chen looks uncomfortable. "Your Honor, hospital staff discovered something on Miss Rodriguez's personal computer. With her permission, we'd like to show the court." Emma looks confused. "What do you mean?" Maria leans down, whispers to her daughter. Emma's eyes go wide. She shakes her head. "No, those are private." "Emma," Maria says gently, "they need to see." See what? Caprio asks. Sarah Chen presses another button. The screen behind the judge lights up again. It's a video. A bedroom, small and simple. Emma is sitting on her bed, wearing a hoodie, her head bandaged. She looks tired, but she's smiling. "Hi, Lily," Emma says to the camera. "It's me. If you're watching this, it means I couldn't say goodbye in person." The courtroom collectively holds its breath. "I want you to know something, okay?" Emma continues. "You are the bravest person I've ever met. You're my hero, and I need you to promise me something. Promise me you'll keep fighting. Promise me you'll live the biggest, most amazing life. Go to college, fall in love, eat too much ice cream, laugh until your stomach hurts, do all the things we talked about." Tears are streaming down Emma's face in the video. And Lily, when you're scared, when it's hard, when you want to give up, remember that you're not alone. Remember that I loved you. Remember that you made my life better just by being in it. The video ends. The courtroom is full of the sound of people crying. The bailiff is wiping his eyes. Judge Caprio has his hand over his mouth. Sarah Chen speaks quietly. "Your Honor, there are 23 of these videos, one for each child in the pediatric cancer ward. Miss Rodriguez has been making goodbye videos because she doesn't know how much time she has left." Caprio has to pause before he can speak. When he does, his voice is thick. "Miss Rodriguez, why didn't you tell anyone about these?" Emma is sobbing now, her thin shoulders shaking. "Because I didn't want them to think I was giving up. I'm not giving up, Your Honor. I'm fighting every day. But I'm realistic, and I wanted them to have something, if..." She can't finish. Maria is holding her, both of them crying. In the gallery, parents are holding their children. Nurses are embracing each other. Even the hospital security guard, the veteran sitting in the third row, has tears running down his weathered face. And Marcus Wellington III stands at the defense table, staring at the floor. Caprio takes a long moment. He removes his glasses, cleans them, puts them back on. It's a gesture that buys him time to compose himself. "Mr. Wellington," he says finally, "do you have anything to say?" Marcus looks up. His face is carefully blank, but there's something in his eyes now. Fear, maybe, or the first stirrings of shame. He stops, starts again. "I didn't know." "You didn't know what?" Caprio asks. "Any of this, about her, about what she does. Would it have mattered?" Caprio asks. "If she wasn't a volunteer, if she wasn't making goodbye videos, if she was just a girl in a wheelchair blocking your path, would it have mattered then?" Marcus doesn't answer. "That's what I thought," Caprio says. He looks at Emma. "Miss Rodriguez, what would you like to see happen here today?" Emma wipes her eyes. "Your Honor, I don't want to ruin his life. I just want him to understand, to see people, really see them." "You're a remarkable young woman," Caprio says softly. Then he looks at Marcus, and his expression changes, hardens. "Mr. Wellington, you're about to receive a lesson in justice, not revenge, not cruelty, justice." He stands up. The entire courtroom seems to lean forward. "Guys, what Judge Caprio says next, this is why millions of people shared this video. This is absolute justice." "Marcus Wellington III," Caprio begins, his voice ringing through the courtroom, "you stand before this court guilty of assault and battery, but your crime goes beyond the physical act of pushing a wheelchair. Your crime is contempt. Contempt for human dignity. Contempt for suffering. Contempt for anyone you deemed beneath your notice." Marcus's lawyer opens his mouth. Caprio silences him with a look. "You live in a world of privilege most people can't imagine," Caprio continues. "Your father's company makes millions, no billions, from the suffering of people like Miss Rodriguez, and when you encountered that suffering in person, you pushed it out of your way." He pauses. "Here is my judgment. You are sentenced to 90 days in county jail." Marcus's face goes white. His lawyer stands. "Your Honor, I'm not finished," Caprio says. "The sentence is suspended on the following conditions. First, you will complete 500 hours of community service, all of which will be served at Providence General Hospital in the pediatric cancer ward." Gasps fill the courtroom. You will not be there as Marcus Wellington III, son of a billionaire. You will be there as a volunteer. You will clean rooms. You will deliver meals. You will sit with children who are scared and alone. You will learn their names. You will hear their stories. And you will see them. Really see them. Emma is staring at the judge, her eyes wide. "Second," Caprio continues, You will personally apologize to Miss Rodriguez, and that apology will be recorded and added to the public record alongside the viral video of your assault. People who saw your cruelty will also see your accountability. Third, you will make a personal donation of $100,000 to the Providence Hospital Pediatric Cancer Support Fund to help families who cannot afford the medications your father's company manufactures. Marcus's lawyer is frantically whispering to him. And finally, Caprio says, his voice softening just slightly, you will write a letter. One letter to each of the 23 children for whom Miss Rodriguez made goodbye videos. You will tell them what you learned. You will tell them what they mean. You will add your voice to hers in reminding them they are seen, they are valued, they matter. The courtroom is silent. If you complete these conditions, Caprio says, your jail sentence will be suspended. If you fail to complete even one of them, you will serve the full 90 days. Do you understand? Marcus nods, unable to speak. I need to hear you say it, Caprio says. Yes, Marcus whispers. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Good. Caprio looks at Emma. Miss Rodriguez, is this acceptable to you? Emma nods, tears streaming down her face. Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Caprio nods. Then he looks at the gallery, at all those faces. I want everyone here to understand something, he says. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about restoration. It's about taking something broken and making it right again. Mr. Wellington broke something when he pushed that wheelchair. He broke trust. He broke dignity. And the only way to repair that is through service, through humility, through genuinely seeing and valuing the people he harmed. He looks back at Marcus. You have a choice now, Mr. Wellington. You can fulfill these conditions begrudgingly, checking boxes, counting hours, or you can let this moment change you. You can let Miss Rodriguez and those children teach you what real strength looks like, what real courage looks like. He sits back down. This court is adjourned. The gavel falls. The video of Judge Caprio's judgment went viral within hours, surpassing even the original assault footage. Over 20 million views, thousands of comments. News outlets across the country covered the story. But the real story happened quietly in the halls of Providence General Hospital. Marcus Wellington III showed up for his first day of community service in jeans and a t-shirt, looking terrified. The nursing staff watched him with suspicion. They'd seen the video. They knew who he was. For the first 2 weeks, Marcus did exactly what Caprio predicted. He checked boxes. He cleaned rooms mechanically. He delivered meals without making eye contact. He counted the hours. And then he met a boy named Jacob. Jacob was 7 years old, newly diagnosed with leukemia, and terrified of needles. He screamed and cried every time a nurse approached with an IV. Marcus happened to be delivering lunch when it happened. Without thinking, Marcus sat down next to Jacob's bed. Hey, he said, I'm scared of needles too. Jacob stopped crying, suspicious. Really? Really? Want to know a secret? I had to get a shot last month, and I almost passed out. Jacob giggled despite himself. Marcus stayed with Jacob during the IV placement, making stupid jokes, letting the kid squeeze his hand until it hurt. When it was over, Jacob hugged him. Something cracked open in Marcus's chest. After that, he stopped counting hours. He learned names. Lily, who Emma had made the video for. Marcus sat with her during chemotherapy, reading the same stories Emma used to read. He met Marcus, yes, another Marcus, a 10-year-old with osteosarcoma who loved basketball. He played wheelchair basketball with him in the hospital courtyard. He cleaned rooms, but now he talked to the families while he worked. He heard their stories. The mom who worked 3 jobs to pay for treatment. The dad who slept in the hospital parking lot because he couldn't afford a hotel. The grandmother raising her grandson because both his parents had died of the same genetic cancer he now fought. And every night, Marcus went home to his penthouse apartment and wrote letters. 23 letters, as ordered. But he couldn't make them generic. He couldn't make them impersonal. Each child was different. Each story mattered. He wrote about Lily's bravery, about Jacob's humor, about Sophia's kindness, about Miguel's determination, about Isha's brilliant questions about science. He wrote about Emma. By month 3, Marcus approached his father. We need to talk about the pricing, he said. His father, Richard Wellington II, frowned. Marcus, this isn't the time. When is the time, Dad? When more people die because they can't afford the medications we make. When more mothers have to choose between saving their child and keeping their house. They fought. Loudly. Marcus threatened to go public with internal documents. His father threatened to cut him off. In the end, Wellington Pharmaceuticals announced a new patient assistance program, providing free medications to families below certain income thresholds and capping out-of-pocket costs at $500 per month. It wasn't enough. Not nearly enough, but it was a start. And Emma's most recent scans showed no new tumor growth. Her doctors were cautiously optimistic. She continued volunteering even as she underwent treatment. She met Marcus in the pediatric ward one day, both of them volunteers now. "Hey," Marcus said awkwardly. "Hey," Emma replied. They stood there for a moment. "I read your letters," Emma said. "To the kids, they loved them." "I learned from the best," Marcus said, nodding toward her. Emma smiled, that same brave, bright smile. "We're all just trying to do better," she said. "Right?" "Right," Marcus agreed. 6 months after Judge Caprio's judgment, the Providence Gazette ran a feature story. The headline read, "From Viral Villain to Hospital Volunteer, One Man's Journey from Cruelty to Compassion." But the real story wasn't about Marcus. It was about Emma and Lily and Jacob and the 20 other children whose names most people would never know. Children who fought battles no child should ever face. Children who taught grown men what courage really means. Judge Caprio framed one photo from the article and kept it in his chambers. It showed Marcus sitting on the floor of the pediatric ward, surrounded by kids, reading a story, and in the background, barely visible, Emma in her wheelchair, watching with that same brave smile. Justice, the judge thought, isn't just about punishment. It's about transformation. It's about seeing people, really seeing them, and choosing to be better. Guys, if this story moved you, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. But more importantly, share this video. Share it with someone who needs to remember that we all have the power to change, that it's never too late to choose compassion over cruelty. And tell me in the comments, who is your hero? Who in your life shows you what real strength looks like? Maybe it's a sick friend who keeps fighting. Maybe it's a parent who sacrificed everything. Maybe it's a stranger who showed you kindness when you needed it most. Drop their name in the comments. Tell their story. Let's honor the Emma Rodriguezes of the world, the people who make us all better just by being in it. Where are you watching from? Tell me below. And remember, be kind. See people. You never know what battles they're fighting. I'll see you in the next one.